Thanks for attending. Charlotte will now welcome you to our presentation on voting.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Richardson, and I am the chair of the empowerment team here at Oakland Community Health Network. I would like to welcome you to Voting 101. Your vote matters. First, I would like to let you know who OCHN is. Oakland Community Health Network provides services for adults, children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as mental health disabilities and substance use disorders. Our mission is to inspire hope, empower people, and strengthen communities. This webinar is for you. This presentation is for anyone and everyone who has or does not have a disability and is interested in voting.
Next slide.
It's your right. Regardless of who you are, you have the right to vote. Your vote makes a difference. Your vote can influence change. Your vote can influence your community and your neighbors. Your vote counts.
Next slide.
Next slide. Am I supposed to say next slide?
Yeah, if you do, it helps.
Okay. You have to advocate for yourself and make your voice heard. Next slide. The thumbs up icon after you vote is not like the thumbs up icon on Facebook. It's much more important. It's not like liking a post or a meme. It's your vote. It's the thumbs up icon makes a difference in your life, in your community life, and in society. Now we are going to hear from Amit.
Hi, my name is Ahmed. I'm a trainer here at OCHN. I have a disability. I vote to ensure that my voice is heard on issues that are important to me. And I hope you do the same this November. Take care.
Thank you, Amit. Now we're going to hear from Amy.
Okay, hi everybody. It is your constitutional right, whether you're disabled or not. Just vote. It's your right. You have every right in the world to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Now we're going to hear from Mark. He's going to give you some important information about voting.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thanks for going over the who and why of voting. I am Mark Jones. I'm a customer service specialist here at OCHN. I'm also an individual with an invisible disability, or at least usually invisible, of a severe mental health mood disorder. I'm a believer of the importance of everybody's voice being heard. I will be covering some of the how of voting, like registering, absentee voting, the voting process, and dealing with obstacles. First, I'm going to talk to you about some important voting dates. Knowing when the elections are in your state is very important. There are 2 elections coming up this year in Michigan. One on Tuesday, August 4th, is the state primary election, where people get to choose which candidates are put on the ballot for the general election in November. There was already a presidential primary election on March 10th of this year. The citizens of Michigan voted who they would like to have on the ballot for the president in the November election. Most of the contests in the state primary are for the U.S. House of Representative seats and for offices in the state of Michigan, as well as for local elections. The second election coming up is the general election on Tuesday, November 3rd, when citizens throughout the country vote for who they want to have in office at all levels, federal, state, and local. Requirements to vote, register to vote. If you are not yet registered at the address where you reside, there are some important deadlines you need to know. This is particularly true if you plan to register to vote in a way other than in person with your local city or township clerk. If you want to register by mail, online, at the Secretary of State's office, or at the Oakland County Clerk's office, you will need to register by July 20th for the August 4th election and by October 19th for the general election on November 3rd. However, with proof of residency, like your state ID or driver's license, you can register at any time in person at your local city or township clerk up until 8 p.m. of the actual day of the election. There are some requirements in order to register to vote. Requirements to register to vote in the state of Michigan. These requirements for being able to register to vote are: you need to be a Michigan resident and a U.S. citizen at the time you register, a resident of the city or township you reside in for at least 30 days by the time you vote, and at least 18 years of age at the time you vote. Additionally, you must not be currently serving a sentence in a jail or prison. However, a person waiting arraignment and not yet convicted of a crime can vote by absentee ballot. Also, felons in the state of Michigan can vote once they've served their sentence. Only Kentucky and Iowa do not restore voting rights to felons. Now, how to register. If you meet the requirements to register to vote, you can register in a variety of ways. You are automatically registered to vote when you renew your driver's license or state ID or update your address at the Secretary of State office. You can register online at some website resources we will go over towards the end of the presentation. You can also register at the Oakland County Clerk's office in Pontiac, and you can always register to vote at your local city or township clerk's office. You can find out the contact information on your local city or township clerk on the websites we will go over towards the end of the presentation. A question you may have is, what do you do if you are moving at the time of the election? You can vote at your previous polling place one last time, or by planning ahead, you can put in your application to vote using an absentee ballot. I will be reviewing absentee voting on the next slide. Absentee voting. All eligible and registered voters in Michigan may request an absentee voter ballot. There is an application, which is the request for the absentee ballot, and then there's the actual absentee ballot itself, which is mailed to you. Requests to have an absentee voter ballot mailed to you must be received by your clerk no later than 5 p.m. the Friday before the election. The Friday before the August 4th election is July 31st, and the Friday before the November 3rd election is October 30th. You can also register and apply for the absentee voter ballot at the same time. After receiving your absentee voter ballot, you have until 8 p.m. on election day to complete the ballot and return it to the clerk's office, either in person or by mail. If you mail your ballot back, please make sure that you include extra postage that is required for an absentee voting ballot. Now we will go over the voting process. Voting process. First, mark your ballot. You can get assistance with this either from a person or by assistive technology. Second, place your completed ballot in the secrecy envelope. Third, return the ballot to the designated person. Insert the ballot in the counting machine. And finally, congratulate yourself and be proud. You've just voted and made your voice heard. Voting assistance is always available. There are people to help you vote if you request it. Every polling place has workers from both major parties who can assist you, or you can choose your own person to help you. There are a few rules about this. The person cannot be your employee, employer, or an agent of your employer, and they cannot be your union representative. There are also ballot marking systems that enable you to vote independently. Often you can do this yourself with assistive technology. We are going to hear from Amit about this.
My name is Amit. I'm a trainer with OCHN, and I use a piece of assistive technology that's available at your local polling place that reads the ballot to me and marks my choices. So that's how I vote with a disability. I hope you exercise your right to vote this November. Thanks. Take care.
Amit used an assistive technology called the Voter Assist Terminal. What is a Voter Assist Terminal? Voter Assist terminals are used for the privacy and accessibility of voters who have a disability. Oakland County polling places uses the Heart Touch Writer. Please tell an election worker if you need to use a Voter Assist terminal. You do not need to call ahead to make sure your polling place has them. Every polling place should have one. In the city where I live, they recently added a touch writer at the city clerk's office for absentee voters. If you vote in another county other than Oakland County, you may use a different type of Voter Assist terminal. In Macomb County, that is one by Election Systems and Softwares. It's either the AutoMark or the Express Vote. We just wanted to take the time to reemphasize how much voting matters and how important it is to get your vote in so your voice can be heard. Are there any questions or comments from the chat message box that we can quickly answer or provide clarification?
Mark, there are no questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Betty will now introduce herself and speak to you on the rights as voters in Michigan.
Hello, my name is Betty Ruiz. I'm an advocate, the author of 2 books, a member of the empowerment team, and a member of Easter Seals. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the rights of voters. The United States and state of Michigan Constitution guarantees every U.S. citizen age 18 or older the right to vote. Whether you vote at the polls or by absentee ballot, voting is a right. If you want the candidate of your choice to win the election, it is important that you vote and make your voice heard. Many people with disabilities do not vote. They want to vote, but many are afraid because of challenges they may face, such as resources and because special accommodations are required. To overcome these challenges, federal and state laws require polling places to be ADA compliant. For instance, to accommodate the disabled, the polling place may have extra wide doorways, ramps for steps, adequate lighting. The voting station may be expandable, and the voting station may enable a person to vote while they are sitting down. Also, as mentioned earlier, there are special machines at the polling place designed to be used by persons with a disability. This may be the AutoMark machine, the Heart Touch Writer, or the Dominion voting machine, depending on the county you're voting in. These machines provide privacy, have a large screen, headphones, and a ballot marker. So please don't hesitate to let the election worker know if you need to use one of these machines. They are there to help you. If you are blind, if you have a disability, or if you are unable to read or write, you can have a person of your choice to assist you at the polls. This person can be anyone except your employer, an employee agent, or an officer or an agent of a union that you belong to. Also, I thought I might mention that this year, because of COVID-19, there will be hand sanitizers and wipes at the polling place for you to use for your safety. If you do require assistance at the polls, you may request help in advance by notifying the clerk's office. You can locate your clerk's office on one of the voting websites that we will discuss later in this training. Hearing impaired residents can direct questions they might have to the Department of State's Bureau of Elections. The email address for that department is elections@michigan.gov. Please don't hesitate to vote. Your voice, your vote matters. This year, there are major changes which affects Michigan voters. We will now show you a video on the new 2020 election laws. Now back to Mark, who will go over some voting resources and how to find them.
Some online Michigan voter resources. Some are helpful voting resources online that I spoke about earlier in the presentation. There is the State of Michigan website, which is www.michigan.gov/vote. It takes you to the Michigan Voters Information Center, or MVIC. On this website, you can find where your local clerk and polling location is, as well as watch videos about voting equipment, how to register, and much more. And then there is the Oakland County Clerk, which is www.oakgov.com/clerkrod. That's CLERKROD. You can register to vote and find your polling location. The Oakland County Clerk is located at 1200 North Telegraph, Building 12 East, Pontiac, Michigan 48341. Their phone number is 1-888-350-0900. That's 1-888-350-0900. There's also the League of Women Voters in Michigan, or www.lwvmi.org. You can educate yourself about important voting issues and learn more about voting. There's also a voting website that goes through the whole nation called Election Protection, 866-OUR-VOTE, which is https://866-OURVOTE.org/. Or you can call them at 866-687-8683. That's 866-687-8683. These resources can help answer individualized questions like, am I registered to vote at my current address? Who is my city or township clerk, and what is their phone number and where is their office? Where is my polling location? How to register to vote online? Not vote online, but how to register to vote online. What do I need to register to vote? How to request an absentee voter ballot application? You can learn more about issues and candidates from the League of Women's Voters website. The links to these resources are on the OCHN website. I will go over them on the next slide. To go to the Oakland Community Health Network website, you go to www.oaklandchn.org, and on the home page, you go to the Advocacy tab towards the right side of the page, and then you would select 2020 elections from the pop-down or drop-down menu. Then you can click on important handouts like important dates to remember, reasons to vote, the voting process, rights of voters with disabilities, and the Respectability Voters Guideline. The online voting resources are on the voting process handout at the bottom of the sheet. You can also look under the News and Events tab about the middle of the page on the home page. And you can look up subsequent OCHN virtual voting webinars. They are on the third Wednesday of the month from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. In July, it is Voting as Advocacy. In August, it's Absentee and Accessibility. For September, it's Candidate Position and Views. This now concludes the presentation portion of Voting 101, Your Vote Matters webinar. We will now be taking questions and comments from the participants. First, we will take questions or comments from the chat message box. Then we will take verbal questions from participants, whether they have raised their hands or put in the chat that they want to ask a verbal question, or they have joined us on the telephone. For those of you who have joined the webinar by phone, you can mute and unmute any type of phone by pressing *6, and the moderator will call on you by phone number. When you are done with your question or comment, please mute your microphone again by pressing *6. Thank you. Debbie, is there any questions for us?
Not at this time, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Thank you. I appreciate, oh, don't do that. If you do have questions, you can call customer service at 1-800-341-2003. That's 1-800-341-2003 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and you can ask for me, Mark Jones. Thanks for attending Voting 101, Your Vote Matters webinar, brought to you by Oakland Community Health Network. I hope you exercise your right to vote. Your vote matters.